Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to The Single Parent, brought to you by Christ Our Shepherd Ministries. My name is Jennifer Dow, and we are here bringing perspective and real solutions to today's single parent. Today we have Sarah Lamb with us. I want to welcome you. Thank you for giving your time here today. And really, we're going to be hearing your story. What happened, kind of what's going on in the middle, your journey of being a single parent, and how God has used that to really affect other people's lives. Okay. So just kind of start out, tell me what happened, tell me what was going on, and kind of the thing that happened, that your story.
Okay.
Lay it on me, girl.
All right. When I first started thinking about what I wanted to say, I started kind of reliving what I was going through and how I became a single parent. And
Right.
it wasn't really something that I wanted. And I really struggled with that. I'd been married for 15 years when I made the decision. I actually made the decision at the 14-year mark.
Wow.
And I'm not sure how much I want to divulge on what went on, mostly for the protection of my daughter,
Right.
who is going to be 13 in a couple weeks.
Oh.
And a lot of it just even for the protection of my former spouse. You know, I still always have that hope that his relationship with Jesus Christ will be what Christ wants it to be.
Right.
So, but needless to say, we had separated in May 2002. It was a very traumatic experience for me, even though I was the one that had made the decision to leave the household.
Right.
Some events took place, and I was backed into a corner, and I really needed to take a stand. And I was fully prepared to take my daughter and to go to a women's shelter. And the Lord did work it out that I didn't have to do that. I still second-guessed myself, but I did follow through with that decision.
Right.
I
So
was
how long
here
have you
alone.
been a single parent now?
Since 2002.
2002, okay.
We've been divorced since 2003. So, but we were separated in May of 2002. So it's gonna be 7 years pretty soon. Yeah.
And
My
one thing
mom
you
lived-
said,
okay.
just one thing you said, that it was hard for you, and nobody wants that, you know,
No.
and nobody gets
No.
married thinking, oh, I'm going to be a single parent. It's on my
No.
to-do list. And so, I mean, I can't imagine. That's just,
Really, my mom lived 2,000 miles away.
wow.
And the rest of my family lived in Michigan. I was trying to keep things as normal as possible for my daughter. I had a good job here. I knew the possibility existed that I would be made to stay in North Carolina anyway, so why give up a good job
Right.
and make a move? And I had a pretty good support system within my job too. And you know, I do want to point out that at that time I was praying and I was still reading my Bible. I was concerned, but I really wasn't living for the Lord during that time. You know, I wasn't going to church. I was very easily discouraged. I was very angry. I was very bitter, very fearful. And
So kind of living in the thorns.
exactly. Yeah, that is a perfect way to describe it. I had the feeling that I find a lot of single parents, single moms in my position is like, you know, Lord, you know, I went to church, I grew up in church, you know, I accepted Jesus as my Savior when I was a child. You know, I had Christian parents. My parents had been married, you know, for 50-some years when my father died. You know, what have I done wrong? And in some ways I felt like that, you know, that the Lord had betrayed me by not healing my marriage and not healing that relationship.
Yeah. I can definitely, my mother actually, that's kind of her story, and not to say her story, she would be totally okay with me saying this, but she said the same thing. It's like, well, if I can't hear God on who I'm supposed to marry, then what can I hear God on? And it brought her into this well, I can't trust God, and it kind of put a wedge between her and God for a season. Did you experience anything like that?
I'm not sure if it was a wedge just based on my what I was feeling for him, because I still had this foundation there that I knew I could never shake. I was very secure in God's promises and what Christ did on the cross for me. I also had the blessing of I spent a year and a half in Bible college. So, and even with the Bible believing church that I grew up in, I was really, I knew what the Word said, and so I think that really prevented me from going too far.
Right.
Even though I did stretch the limit, I do have to say that I do not sit here and claim that I am not at fault for anything that happened in my former marriage. I did play a part in that, and that was something that I had to come to accept.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing the work that God can do, especially when we're like, okay, here's my stuff. This is what I've done. Change me, Lord. I want to be all about you.
Right.
And when you just let it all fall at the cross like that, it's just unremarkable.
Yeah.
Unremarkable.
It was very interesting is that when I finally figured out that I was not safe anymore, and that I had to make a decision on behalf of my daughter. I was praying for guidance, and that was when a song came out, and part of the song said, "Lord, move or move me." And I did want to change. I was willing to do whatever it would take. And for whatever reason, that's not the events that took place. I really had typical feelings, I think, for just going through that process. Like I said before, the anger, the hurt, fear, betrayal.
All normal feelings.
All normal. Grieving.
Yeah.
Grieving. I would doubt if I did the right thing. And then I would say to the Lord, "Lord, this is my plan. I'm thinking about, going back into this relationship.
Do you want this?
Is
Move
this
or
what
move
you
me."
want? Yeah. Is
So
this
he
what
moved
you
you.
want? And yeah, so he did move me. And he actually had his hand in some things that had happened that said, "Sarah, you really made the right decision."
Can you share any of those?
Well, let's see. I'm not really sure if I could share it. Not without. I think really one of the biggest events is that in 2000, it was 2002. We had several days without power, and my apartment didn't have power. So I have.
And this was after he moved you out.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I was living. I got an apartment. It was my daughter and I, and it was close to the Christian school. I still have my job and everything, and so we have no power. We have an ice storm, and I was prepared. I was going to go to a hotel, and he had my former spouse had said, and we're still married at this time, actually. And he said, "Well, you can come and stay here, and then you all can stay in Mariah's room, our daughter's room." And so I said, "Okay." And I thought, well, maybe this is it. Maybe there's been a change there. Maybe